Hi everyone and welcome to the first devlog of Stone Game. I don't know what to call it yet. Now the idea of this is meant to be an automation game similar to Factorio, but the main differentiating factor is that you get all of your materials from stone, hence the name Stone Game. So essentially you get everything from breaking down stone, and basically that means that you'll have tons and tons of like massive automated factory type thing. That's the end goal. Anyway, that's the end goal. Also, do you like this like framing? I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, so that's the main concept of the game, and I've actually started development on it quite a while ago. I think towards the end of 2019 from memory, but I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, I started all the way back then and I made a little bit of progress. I managed to get this little progress bar going for actually mining the stone. It drops the item, which has a cool little animation, and it's cool. It's got an inventory system that works pretty well, and the beginning of a crafting system. I kind of came up with some of the things for the crafting system, but it hasn't really worked properly. There's quite a few weird quirks to it, let's just say. Yeah, I don't know why it does any of that. The code is so old that I've tried for hours. I probably spent about 5 or 6 hours in total trying to work out why it's just like not working. I'm getting distracted by watching Kevin in the camera. And there's some things other than, you know, giving negative numbers that is just occurring that really shouldn't happen with the code that I've written. For example, this is the thing for the recipes. This means that, you know, this much stone equals a large rock, right? Basically what happens is after I craft one of those, then nothing. Yep, it changed the recipe to equal nothingness, which is something that really should not happen at all. There's nothing in the code that should even write to that at all. It only ever reads from it. It does not write to it at all. So I'm really not sure what the deal is with that. So I figured with this dodgy code and with, you know, some weird upgrades to the latest versions making the UI about this big, I figured it would probably be a good idea to kind of restart the whole project, especially if I'm going to do devlogs of it as well. I've tried to do devlogs in the past, but it hasn't really worked out. I'm going to try this, you know, being on camera thing. I've never really been very good at it, but we'll see how we go. So I guess without further ado, let's hop into a brand new Unity project. And here we are, blank project. Kind of scary, not gonna lie. So we started by importing the sprites into Unity from the previous Unity project, and I decided to change some of the settings as well because apparently I hadn't already done that. I then put a little white square in the center to be the player and a stone background to make a very basic scene, kind of to replicate what we had before. Then I decided it would probably be easier just to import the player script from the previous project because otherwise I'd have to remake it and it's all just going to be the same anyway, so I may as well just re-import it. And then I had that realization about a lot of the other things as well, but I didn't want to import too many scripts because otherwise stuff is going to start not working again. So I think I'm just going to leave out the inventory scripts. In retrospect, it probably would have been easier just to redo the inventory and crafting scripts, but oh well, we're too far in now. I keep knocking my microphone. I then decided to start work on the first actual original mechanic instead of just stealing stuff from the old project, and that is to start the progress bar for the mining. Because I think that's how I'm going to do the mining. It's going to be done with a progress bar that's just above the cursor. You saw it briefly in the previous project. And yes, I'm going to redo that here a little bit. I did of course import the previous script from the previous project into the new one, but I had to modify a couple things because apparently I didn't use a slider object before. I mean, it's the obvious thing to use for progress bar, but apparently I didn't use it, so I don't know. And it definitely had its issues. But I finally got it working properly with the new script, and then once I imported the textures, it worked pretty well. I had to change a couple settings, but this is the end result, and I'm really quite happy with it. So now it's about 1:30, and I think it's about time to step away from the computer for a bit and have lunch. Taste test. Alright, jumping right back into it, I figured I need to start work on some of the stuff that was having issues last time, and that being the inventory. I decided to start with just making the UI for the inventory. I figured it would probably be a little bit easier. And while doing that, I had a bunch of scaling issues, but then I found this option, the best option ever. It makes things from looking like this to looking like this. It's amazing, it's great. I then started a base script to manage the inventory, and then went ahead and made a script for all of the separate slots. And just like anything, it didn't work at first, but I ended up getting it working in the end. Alright, I think that's enough game dev for today. I'm going to hop off the computer and get my camera out and start recording a clip for the video. Wait, hang on. Alright, it's Saturday just after lunchtime, and I think it's about time we actually start implementing the script for the inventory system. So I started off by having to adjust a bunch of UI things. Yeah, I had to redo a bunch of things. I decided to make it a little bit smaller as well, because if you make it, full screen, the slots look massive, basically. Yeah, the slots just look massive. There's also a little bit of a bug where you just couldn't move things in the inventory in high resolutions, and that was because the little icon that shows what you're dragging was kind of overlapping with the cursor, which meant you couldn't press the buttons, and yeah, it just wasn't really working very well. So I had to mess around with that for a bit. And by a bit, I mean a while. Oh boy, did that take ages. But eventually, I got it working to scale with the resolution of the screen, so it worked pretty well in the end. I then gave Serpent a hand to find my base on iCraft. I don't know why I recorded that, but I did. And back to the game. So I started to implement a little bit of a give script, which basically will be used for, when you pick up items, it'll add one of those items to your inventory. That's what the give script does. Kind of, gives you the items. It makes sense, right? Except the issues from last time were rearing their ugly head. And I changed a couple things and thought I fixed it, but nope, no, it wasn't fixed. I spent ages trying to fix this. I discovered the issue was that two different variables were being linked together. So when you set one equal to another, it would just do that forever and just, set it either way, even though it's meant to just change this one. It was changing this one as well, and it was a nightmare. I don't know which way I'm meant to do this, so if I do it the wrong way, I apologize. I'll just flip the screen. I cannot for the life of me still work out why it's doing it. So if you know why, please let me know in the comments. I'm begging you. Because I still don't know why it's doing it. I genuinely have no idea. So please let me know why. I think the issue is with the custom variable. So essentially, for anybody who actually knows Unity stuff out there, I had a script here which had 3 different variables in it, and I used that as a variable. So, that's item index. And then we have the variable of item index, which has a sprite, an amount, and attributes, which I was gonna maybe do something else for attributes, but I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do for that yet. But I think I'm gonna have to split those up, unfortunately, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's alright, it's okay. As long as it fixes it. I really genuinely hope it fixes it. If not... But oh well, that's future me's problem. I got way too frustrated today. I ended up starting to type instead of talking. But yeah, as I say, I think I'm going to worry about that further down the line. For now, I think that's it for today. Alright, it's Sunday now, but don't be fooled, I haven't been super productive. It's actually been a week and 1 day, not just a day. And in that time, I managed to break my front-facing camera. Very unfortunate. And the quality looks horrible, so yeah. So hopefully this is alright. I'm sitting a bit straighter now. I'm not hunched over like in the previous clip. Anyway, back to the game, the redemption. Today's the redemption. I started off by splitting up the item index variable there. And I just split that up into sprite and amount. There's no attributes yet. Maybe I'll do attributes in the future if I need to, but for now, no attributes. It's just sprite and amount. And then after fixing a bunch of errors and a couple other things, it eventually worked, which was good. It literally just worked. Yeah, that didn't even take 15 minutes. That was so unbelievably quick. So I decided that after that really, really long time of working on the game, I would hop off and hop into the shower. And then I rode the high of productivity and changed my bed sheets as well, because I don't know, why not? Probably didn't need to know that, but anyway. Back into the game though, I cleaned up a bunch of the code from, bits that I was experimenting with, cutting out all the comments and stuff like that, and it went from 73 lines to 54, which I think is a pretty good reduction. And then I fixed the give script, which instead of adding like it is what you're seeing on screen now, it actually adds to existing stacks in the inventory, which is probably better. And now I'm going to put a cap on the stack size, because I don't want the text to have to increase, because at the moment it just kind of caps off, and yeah, it's just weird. So I'm going to make a max stack size of 99. That might change in the future, but for now, 99, I think that'll work pretty well. And after actually making that apply to everything, it was done. Oh yeah, and do you ever listen to music and kind of feel like you're in a montage? Yeah, I did that. Anyway, now I'm going to make the items that drop on the ground actually give you the item that it is, so I guess the small stone in this case. And that just made use of the give script, so that was super easy to implement, and boom, there it is, working, awesome. And I decided to fix the mining bar as well, because the mining bar was incredibly slow and it was kind of right on top of the cursor, which I don't really want. I wanted to move it down and to the side a little bit, so yeah, I did that. And I decided it would probably be a good idea to make it so if you move the cursor too much, the mining progress will be reset, because otherwise it's a little bit weird if you're just moving the cursor all over the place and it's just mining. I feel like, you know, you'd be chipping away at one spot, not chipping away everywhere, and, you know, chipping, you know what I mean. And for some reason, while implementing that, I really didn't want to use the screen to world point of the camera. I ended up using that anyway, because trying to make it scale perfectly with the screen resolution, way too hard, and I figured making it match up with the blocks would be probably the best way to do it. And it was. But anyway, I think that's just about enough development for today, and on to whenever I decide to pick the project back up again. Hopefully not a week and a day like last time. Alright, so today I wanted to make a start on the crafting system because I figured it was probably about time. With all the inventory code working perfectly fine, I figured, yeah, let's move on to the crafting system. So I started by doing the same thing as the inventory, and that is to create the UI for it. I also decided to tweak the inventory UI a little bit just so it fit a little bit better into the actual box. I'll probably end up changing all of the sprites and all that kind of stuff later on, but for now, it's just kind of a temporary solution that looks okay. Then it was time to implement the crafting system into the code, and because I've already kind of done it before, I had a pretty good idea of how I was going to do it. Then I decided to actually make it use the resources instead of just making an infinite copy of each of the stones. There we go, and oh, that's an amount of 0. That should not happen. If you have 0 of something, you have none of that something, so it wouldn't make sense to show the sprite there, right? So then I made the coolest sounding function ever, but then accidentally messed up the curly brackets and the coolness was out the window at that point. And then after making it, I put the function everywhere. There was gonna be no illegalities happening in my script. Absolutely no illegal activities. I don't know why they don't do this in real life, I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, at this stage, I'm basically on par with what I had before. Yeah, that's basically everything I had in the previous project, but actually working properly. And so, because of that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one off here. Bit of a shorter day today, but I think that's alright, it's not too big of an issue. But yeah, without further ado, let's take a quick look back at what we got done in this video. And there we go. Thanks for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. A bit of a different style of content, and it's an actual devlog video, I guess. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, the old devlog video, but never really got a chance to do. Well, I had a chance to do it, but I just went about it in the wrong way. I actually really enjoyed making this video. It was really satisfying to split it up into little segments of each day and to put little projects together to make a bigger project, and I thought it was a lot of fun to do. And so because of that, I want to extend this experiment a little bit longer, try and make another one of these videos and see how many I'll make until it gets boring or until, you know, I want to move on or something like that. And because iCraft Season 6, a kind of mini-series type thing, is going to be starting pretty soon, I want to make Minecraft videos as well, but I think I'm going to put those on a second channel temporarily. Maybe I'll re-upload them onto here later on if I don't want to keep making these types of videos, but we'll just see how things go. So if you still want to watch Minecraft content from me, go ahead and click the iCard in one of the top corners there. I don't know which one it is. And yeah, I'll try and post semi-regular Minecraft content on there. I think I'm going to start off without doing a schedule because I got some exams coming up and it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll see where everything goes from there. I'm experimenting a little bit with content styles and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, long story short, I want to keep with this style for a little bit longer with the devlogs and stuff. I'm really enjoying it. But I also do want to keep doing the Minecraft videos because I really enjoy those too. Best of both worlds. Some say that you can't have it, but I'm willing to give it a go. But anyway, I think that's just about enough for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing if you really enjoyed it that much or whatever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.